Before we get going, want to tell you about the Central Indiana Sports Reports Central Indiana Scoreboard show every weekday at 1 o'clock. We cover the Pacers, the Colts, IU, Purdue, IndyCar, plus high school and college sports in Blackford, Delaware, Grant, Howard, Madison, Tipton, and Northern Hamilton counties. Every weekday at 1 o'clock in our Sports Center style podcast. You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report podcast number 243.3. Mike Rich reacts to the Pacers' 123-115 win over the Milwaukee Bucks in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference playoff quarterfinals and their 2-0 series lead.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Welcome, Pacers fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report. Mike Rich reacts to the Pacers. What was the score, Mike?
123-115. Pacers win.
And before we introduce Mike to you officially, let me go over the 15-second recap. Pacers led by as many as 15 points in the first quarter and led nearly the entire game and had a big lead in the fourth quarter. We were talking about the game being over with about 6 minutes to go, and then Milwaukee got within, Mike, was it two? And it was a little scary, but what did I keep saying? The Pacers have too many big shot makers. They're going to win this game. And they did. The final score, once again, 123-115. And Mike, first question, as I asked last time, is this a, hey, good job, we defended home court, or is this thing over?
I don't know if this thing's over, but it was a great win, and it was a great defending home court. I think it got a little chippy throughout the game. I think it'll continue to escalate in Milwaukee. It was just a great battle-tested team with the Pacers knowing Lillard was coming back and there was going to be a different intensity on Milwaukee's side. And
Mike, if Milwaukee hadn't come back and made this a game, they probably would have gotten out of control with the chippiness.
Yeah, I think so.
All night, shoving. Hard screens by Bobby Portis. Man, is that guy set a screen or what?
He sets a hell of a screen. He sets one that you just want to punch him in the mouth for.
He hit Mather right in the ribs once. And barely shook him.
That
kind of tells you what you need about him, what you need to know about him. But Mike, Andrew Nembhard, the new hero of Indianapolis. This guy has been the MVP of Game 1 and Game 2. But not only that, when the game was on the line tonight, he went at Giannis time after time after time and said, hey, I'm better than you. And he was down the stretch.
He was. He was better than Giannis. He had no fear. He took it right at him. And that's exactly what you got to do against Milwaukee is you got to take it at him. You got to have Giannis work on the defensive end. And, it slows him down on the offensive end. And I think that, Nembhard has no fear. And I don't think there's anyone in the league that scares him. And, to take it at someone like Giannis, I mean, there's no doubt Giannis he's such a dominant player all around.
Nembhard had a different look in his eye tonight, especially the second half. He, out of the gate, wasn't quite as effective, I think, as Halliburton really was. Tonight was his best night I've seen in a long time from him, getting to the basket and making plays off of that. He ended up with 21 points, 12 assists, 5 rebounds. Not a great shooting night, but he had a really good scoring night. And Siakam was fantastic as well. A lot less bench tonight.
All 5 starters, played really well. Everybody was in double figures. You had, Siakam with 11 rebounds, 24 points. I thought Halliburton, when he hit his shots, when he hit those threes, it was big moments in the game. He was looking for his shot. He was taking it to the hole. He was dishing. That's what you want to see. And the other thing, that the last two games, and it's been really exciting to see, is they're starting out strong. During the regular season,
their best start I've seen.
Yeah, in a long time. I think the first game they were a little slow, but they ended that first quarter pretty well in the first game. But that's what they struggled with a lot of their games during the regular season, was just getting out and just getting ahead in that first quarter. And I think that's they were ahead the whole game. I don't know if they've been behind the entire series.
Not for very long if they have.
Yeah.
In fact, the Pacers have absolutely dominated these first two games, minus about a quarter and a half, where Milwaukee had a big run early. Was it early in the fourth quarter or late in the third quarter in the last game, and in this game, late in the fourth quarter.
Late in the
6 minutes to go, I believe the Pacers led by 15, and then Milwaukee scored 13 consecutive points.
Bobby Portis couldn't miss.
Man, that guy is so good, Mike. I know I say this all the time. He's got to be the most hated player for the Pacers right now, but man, is that guy good at basketball.
He's good. 12 rebounds, 28 points. Off the bench.
He's their second best player. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
No.
I think even at this point, he's better than Lillard. Lillard had a nice game. Didn't shoot very well, but he definitely was a factor in the comeback. I think we're going to have to be a little concerned about the momentum they built there in the second half as we go to Milwaukee. And because it looks like, Mike, a sweep is a real possibility, the way that they've dominated the first two games. It rarely works out that way in the NBA playoffs. Teams make adjustments, particularly at home. But if the Pacers can get game three, it'll put Milwaukee out of their misery and be fresh for Cleveland.
I would love to see a sweep in this series, but I still think I picked Pacers in 6 on this, and I think that Milwaukee is going to be a tough out on their home court. I think they're going to play well when they go back to Milwaukee. I hope that they're just as I hope these first two games have just really demoralized them to where they don't come out and play really well. But I think they'll come out and play for their fans, and I think they're gonna. I think the intensity will be pretty difficult in Milwaukee. I think the Pacers are going to have a good game plan coming into that. Again, I think holding Giannis under 40s is a pretty good.
Did I mention that he's really good too, Mike?
No, I don't think you've ever said anything about Giannis being.
I said on the Central Indiana scoreboard show today, Coach Carlisle said that Giannis was one of the best 3 players in the NBA, and that's been obvious since Sunday. And I said, no, it's been obvious since about 2015. And he is, I think, the second best player in the NBA and the most feared player in the NBA. And I think the most feared player since Shaquille O'Neal. He is just such a bully. He plays hard all the time. He makes such a big difference. And half the time, he scored 1 on 4, Mike.
Yeah. In that fourth quarter, he did. He took it 1 on 4, and he's dominant. And he's strong. He's athletic. He's agile. He's aggressive. He's
never isn't playing hard.
Never.
And by the way, 7 offensive rebounds of his 18 offensive rebounds. His 34 points came on just 20 shots. Again, he have 150% points to field goal attempts, which is always an incredible night. Bobby Portis was 6 for 11 from the 3-point line.
And he played point guard.
Giannis, yes, he did. He played point guard. They definitely had a different strategy. They put the guys out on the perimeter and let him pass out of him playing point guard. And it worked to a degree. At least it wasn't an embarrassment tonight. Game 1, it was just an absolute clowning. It looked like the varsity against the JV. It did not look like that tonight, and I kind of thought we expected that.
Yeah, I thought that was definitely expected. So it's.
And the bench tonight didn't get a lot of minutes. I think the most was 21 by Toppin. Matherin only played 17 minutes, which really surprises me. But part of that was Neesmith was playing so well. Matherin did score 14 points in his 17 minutes, and he got to the line again, 5 for 5. Pacers were 19 for 19 at the line tonight.
Fantastic. I mean, that's one of the best stats I think that they had, and those give me points, and they took every single one of them, and it definitely it was a difference in this game.
And Mike, these numbers don't sound incredible, but T.J. McConnell, 6 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals in just 16 minutes. It's not quite worth the McConnell song, but you did hear it a couple times tonight.
I did. He very no, you can't complain about that. I mean, it's a nice night for off the bench and not much time.
And Thomas Bryant scored 0 points and played a pretty significant role in the game, I felt, during a time when the Pacers pulled away in that game. In fact, he was +5 in his plus minus, and man, I love that guy. That's such a great addition.
I'm so happy to see him doing well, getting minutes in the playoffs. I thought the big play that he had was the block where I think he was just standing and he got the block right at the basket. I don't know who was shooting that shot, but it was a fantastic block.
And Jarris Walker played 11 minutes. I think that's about right. I think he needs to get some minutes every night in these games. I think that could be big for him in the future because he is a big part of the future, I think, unless he's trade bait. But in just 11 minutes, he did have a big three-pointer and had 4 rebounds. And, man, that guy can play defense. He's a good passer, good rebounder. I got to quit praising him so much because I just do it over and over. And, Mike, I don't think we could be much happier.
No, the only thing that would make me happier is if James Johnson gets in and he goes up against Portis and knocks him out.
We don't condone violence on this. Oh, as Will Rutherford said, yes, we do. We do condone violence. The right kind of violence.
And I don't know if this series is going to lead to some type of physical altercation, but it feels pretty intense between these two teams.
It doesn't very often in the NBA anymore. By the way, there's like 5 series where the teams hate each other right now. The Rockets and the Warriors really don't like each other. The Lakers and Timberwolves are not fans of each other. They're the Pistons and Knicks, of course, the 2 nastiest franchises in NBA history. A lot of series where teams don't like each other. Speaking of which, the Thunder beat the Grizzlies last time by 51, this time just by 19, Mike. And as you and I are doing this last night, the Lakers led the Timberwolves 5-4. Mike, Timberwolves dominated Game 1. What are you expecting from that series?
When we did our picks the other night, I was like, I hated saying that the Lakers are going to win that series, and for the Timberwolves to come out and take that first game in LA, I was surprised. I was really surprised. Anthony Edwards is the real deal, and playoff time, I think he's going to step up and going to make a series of it. I still think the Lakers are going to take that series.
I think I've changed my mind. I think it's the Timberwolves' time. I like the matchup. Now, you kind of saw it in Game 1 where Minnesota can just go big and there's not much the Lakers can do about it. So we'll see. If Jaden McDaniels plays like that, I promise the Timberwolves are going to win.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that he's not going to be a Hall of Famer in this series, and that will come back down to earth. We'll see.
I was happy to see, Luka did what he needed to do in that first game. I think he scored 37 points in the game. He played really well.
And what'd your boy LeBron do?
I don't know. Not my boy. Not well enough. And I love that.
We always love that. Man, I was going to go off on a LeBron tangent, but let's not do that. All right, Wednesday night, Mike, Magic at Lakers, Magic at Celtics. The Celtics won Game 1, that didn't change your mind about the series at all,
No,
right?
not
That's going to be 4-0.
that's going to be 4-0.
Heat at Cavaliers, a decent challenge from the Heat for most of that game. Cavaliers ended up winning by 21. That one's going to be a sweep too.
Yes, that should be a sweep.
At the very least, those two are going to be gentlemen sweeps.
Yeah.
4-1. And the Warriors at Rockets. The Warriors won Game 1 in Houston. Did that change your mind about anything?
I had the Warriors winning that series, so I don't think that changes my mind in that series either. I think it's Jimmy Butler time, and his Batman is Steph Curry is what he said. So let's see how that plays out.
By the way, I picked the Rockets, and I still think the Rockets are going to win this series.
All right.
I think they're just so much more athletic that they are going to impose their will eventually. I don't think the Rockets are ready to win a championship, but that team is very talented, especially with a little bit older Warriors team now. Steph Curry, you got to love him. Loved him all the way from the beginning to the end of his career, starting from the first day I saw him as a freshman at Davidson. That's the day I fell in love with him, and I love it, but I just think that the Rockets, and they are just so big, fast, strong, tough. The future of that team, that franchise is huge.
Yeah, they have a bright future ahead of them, but I think it's future.
Mike, thank you so much. Always good to see you, and we will be doing this again Friday night, we hope. If not, we will have some substitutions for you, but someone will be talking about the Pacers after the game. And, of course, later this week, you and I are going to do a Pacers report, talk a little bit more about the series and what it's meant to have Damian Lillard back in the series. Does that concern us at all? We're going to talk a little bit about the rotations and the minutes of the players, what the Pacers have done well. Thanks so much to Mike Rich for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report once again. I've loved watching Pacers games with him since we were little kids. Sorry about the sound issues. Apparently, my microphone wasn't working or wasn't working well. But if you made it this far, you thought it was worth it. So thank you so much for putting up with it. And if you like what the Central Indiana Sports Report is doing for Central Indiana Sports, please share these segments with your friends and family. Always appreciate it. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.